Most people believe intelligence is something you're born with, a number on a test, a label handed to you early in life that quietly decides how far you're allowed to go. They think intelligence is about being clever, educated, articulate, or well-read. But that definition was never designed to describe reality. It was designed to pacify you. True intelligence is not about knowing more. It is about controlling outcomes. It is the difference between those who shape the environment and those who adapt to it, between those who write the rules and those who argue about them, between those who move history forward and those who are crushed beneath it without ever understanding why. Every society, every organization, every relationship operates on a hidden hierarchy of intelligence. Not moral intelligence, not academic intelligence, strategic intelligence. The kind that decides who gives orders and who follows them, who influences decisions and who absorbs consequences, who lives freely and who lives reactively. You have seen this hierarchy play out your entire life. At work, in families, in politics, in relationships. You have watched people with fewer credentials rise above those with more. You have watched quiet individuals dominate rooms full of loud ones. You have watched men who say very little control men who say everything. That is not luck. That is not charisma. That is intelligence expressed as power. There are 7 levels. Most people never leave the first. A few climb to the middle. Almost no one reaches the top. And the reason is simple. Each level requires the death of an illusion the lower level depends on to survive. This is not a motivational ladder. This is a psychological hierarchy. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Level 1. The reactive mind. This is where the majority live and die. The reactive mind does not initiate, it responds. It waits for stimuli and reacts emotionally, habitually, predictably. News headlines decide its mood. Authority decides its beliefs. Social pressure decides its actions. People at this level believe they are thinking, but they are not. They are processing instructions, cultural programming, emotional triggers, fear responses inherited from a world that no longer exists. The reactive mind confuses activity with agency. It works hard, talks often, feels strongly, and accomplishes very little. It believes the system is fixed and that its role is to survive inside it as comfortably as possible. Responsibility is outsourced, failure is blamed, success is attributed to luck. Nothing is ever truly their fault, which means nothing is ever truly in their control. This level obeys because it cannot imagine doing anything else. Authority feels natural, independence feels dangerous, freedom feels like exposure. Most people never leave this level because leaving it requires one unbearable realization: no one is coming to save you. Level 2. The imitative mind. This is the awakening phase, the first crack in the illusion. The imitative mind realizes something is wrong. It senses manipulation. It becomes suspicious of authority, narratives, and systems, but it does not yet know how to think independently. So it copies. It borrows opinions, ideologies, frameworks, identities. It replaces one script with another and calls that freedom. It quotes thinkers it hasn't understood. It adopts positions without examining incentives. It signals intelligence rather than exercising it. This level is obsessed with being seen as intelligent. It needs validation. It argues loudly. It debates constantly. It confuses disagreement with dominance. The imitative mind believes knowledge is power, but it only consumes knowledge that reinforces its identity. It is still reactive, just with better vocabulary. Most people get stuck here permanently because it feels like superiority. They are no longer asleep, they feel awake, and that feeling is intoxicating. But imitation is not mastery, and borrowed minds never rule. Level 3.
the instrumental mind. This is where intelligence becomes useful. The instrumental mind stops asking what is true and starts asking what works. It studies incentives, it recognizes patterns, it understands that systems are not moral, they are functional. At this level, people begin to win, careers advance, resources accumulate, influence grows. They learn how to position themselves, how to negotiate, how to exploit inefficiencies. But their intelligence is transactional. Every interaction is calculated, every relationship is evaluated, every move is weighed against risk. They are effective but anxious, successful but tense, because they still believe the world is something to defend against rather than shape. This level obeys rules selectively, but it still believes rules are real. Level 4, the directive mind. This is where command begins. The directive mind stops navigating systems and starts imposing direction. It accepts responsibility not only for outcomes, but for others. Leadership emerges here, decisiveness, authority, the willingness to be disliked in exchange for results. This level understands that clarity is more valuable than consensus, that hesitation is more dangerous than mistakes, that most people want to be led, not consulted. But directive intelligence comes with a cost: visibility, resistance, fatigue, the burden of being the one everyone blames when things go wrong. Many leaders never advance beyond this level because power becomes their identity. They confuse control with freedom, action with wisdom. They rule others, but not themselves. Level 5, the strategic mind. This is where intelligence becomes invisible. The strategic mind no longer leads from the front. It designs conditions. It influences without appearing to. It understands that the most effective control is indirect. At this level, people stop giving orders and start shaping incentives. They create environments where others move in predictable directions while believing they chose freely. Narratives are crafted, structures are built, outcomes are engineered long before decisions appear to be made. This level rules without being seen. It understands psychology, timing, leverage. It knows when to act and when to wait. But it carries a danger: detachment. When everything becomes strategy, nothing feels real. Relationships become tools. Trust becomes liability. Most stop here, believing they've reached the top. They haven't. Level 6, the architectural mind. This is where intelligence stops playing games and starts building realities. The architectural mind does not manipulate people. It designs systems that make certain behaviors inevitable. It understands that humans follow structure more reliably than persuasion. This level thinks in decades, in second-order consequences, in feedback loops and cascading effects. It builds institutions, platforms, cultures, frameworks. It does not need control over individuals because it controls the environment they operate within. Architectural intelligence shapes history quietly. Long after personalities fade, systems remain. But even this level carries attachment, legacy, creation, identity bound to output. There is still something to lose. Level 7, the sovereign mind. This is the rarest level, the one almost no one reaches. The sovereign mind does not seek control, influence, or legacy. It seeks internal independence. It understands systems without being trapped by them. It can engage or withdraw at will. It has no need for validation, recognition, or dominance. Nothing can be used against it because nothing is required from the outside. It is not in conflict with reality. It acts when action is necessary and remains still when stillness is more powerful. It is not detached from the world. It is unenslaved by it. This is the intelligence of true autonomy. Most people oscillate between the first three levels their entire lives. A few reach command, fewer reach strategy, almost no one reach sovereignty. And the barrier is never intelligence, it is identity. Each ascent requires letting go of who you thought you were, of how you were rewarded, of what made you feel safe. The system is designed to keep you below, because people who govern themselves cannot be governed easily. The question is not where you are. The question is whether you are willing to climb. Because once you see the hierarchy, staying at the bottom becomes a choice. If this changed how you see intelligence, power, and control, like the video so it reaches others who are ready. Share it with someone who feels trapped but can't explain why. Comment where you believe you stand in the hierarchy, and subscribe for more long-form psychological and philosophical breakdowns that go